Alright, welcome back. I know it's been a couple weeks since I did a last video. My name's Genji. I go by Genji Chronicles, and I'm trying to give you some One Piece news here and there, and also a couple box openings. But for this video, I kind of want to go over the aftermath of the Romance Dawn crashing and One Piece crashing, right? Everyone was kind of concerned about, is One Piece going to survive? What's going on with the cards? Are they even collectible? Well, like I mentioned in the last video, it's all about perspective and all about how you want to look at collectibles in general, and also how you want to look at these cards as well. So, kind of keep things in perspective, right? There's always going to be a battle when sets come out, with new sets that I've been watching, with like Lorcana. The Star Wars is having this issue right now, is with production and availability of cards. So, and Pokemon and Magic also have the same situation, where you don't want to overprint, and you just want to be right in the wheelhouse and try to print just enough cards so that just enough people want to get them as well. The problem with new games is that the companies do not know what the market size is, and so as the market size grows, they want to meet that market demand. So that brings a conflict of interest, right, between the people who have the cards and the people who want the cards, right? The people who have the cards want their cards to go up in value. They really don't want to hear reprint or anything like that. And I'll be honest, it's more selfish, right? They think they have stuff that may be going to the moon with the prices they see, that they skyrocket right away because of the shortage of supply. However, the other side of it is, people are complaining about they want cards, they can't get cards, and so that's also driving up the price at that time. So what happens if the second group gets met demand? Well, obviously, you're going to have market corrections. So let's kind of go over some new, developments or new things or perspective of One Piece, and how you should look at collecting from here on and down the road. Alright, so the first thing that I wanted to look at, let's take a look here. Look, I brought this up, Reddit, right? One Piece, no cards. Because I remember I go through Reddit, I go through Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, Instagram, and I remember, 5 months ago, a year ago? So 5 months ago, a year ago, if you recall, that's when I believe Kingdoms of Intrigue, so OP-04 came out, and people were complaining about there's no cards. There's no cards, and especially when Awakening New Era came out, that's when really people wanted that set, and that one sold out, and people were talking about no cards. However, as I mentioned plenty of times, when people were talking about the no cards, they were specifically talking about not getting their hands on the wanted sets. Awakening New Era, Paramount War, and obviously Romance Dawn, because the prices were so high and no stores had them. However, like I said in the last video, Pillars of Strength and Kingdoms of Intrigue were still there. So that's why I say it's all about perspective, because those two sets were available, but just nobody wanted them. So it's kind of weird that you would hear that people were talking about not getting cards. And was it true that you're not getting cards at retail? Yeah, because there's not many places that are going to stock a new card game. How many retailers stocked Lorcana when it first came out? How many retailers stock Star Wars Unlimited? And that's a big, IP. But there's no retailers, Target, Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy, that you could go into and get these cards. So the complaint about, having no cards, yeah, for sure, at retail it's hard to get. But I was able to get cards online, even though the cards were a little bit pricier than what I wanted to pay, but they were available. So let's kind of take a look, right? No cards at Five Guys, and it's actually Five Below. So Five Below and Hot Topic, I think I mentioned that in another video, is like two of the places that people were aware of, but they sold out so fast. I'll bring up Hot Topic. They actually offered OPO this last set for 500 years. But look, 5 months ago, have you thought about abandoning the card game due to no cards? Where is there nothing anywhere? Why are cards not hard to get? This is 11 months ago, 6 months ago. Can't get any product. I think the only cards people hunt for now is One Piece cards. Is the subreddit even about the game anymore? Right? So most of these cards gave up on the game because they couldn't get the cards. Different perspective. Now you look at it like everybody has, the cards are everywhere. OP-01 through OP-07. They're pretty much everywhere. So let's take a look at the availability of Romance Dawn online. Like I said, TCG player has about 284. We'll kind of go over the prices again, because I remember when I made that video 2 weeks ago, and I called it a market crash because, like I mentioned, crashes anything that's about 20%. Below. So that was under 400 when it was about 350, 399. So I'll take a look at that. 284, so under 300. And then the other set was Paramount War that I didn't do a video on, but I did start seeing stores starting to get the set as well. Right, so Forge and Fire Gaming 169 for OP-02 Paramount War. Remember when this box was catching up to Romance Dawn? I think in my last video, which I'll put up here, I'll kind of show you what the prices were before. But yeah, so it's 169. Obviously that crashed as well. Flipside Gaming also has Paramount War back in stock for 249. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is market crash and the dip in the market because of Romance Dawn and the news that got, because definitely that crash with the reprint that all the stores were happening. However, do you remember when the reprint announcement happened? So if you recall, they said that they're going to reprint the most in-demand sets, right? OP-01, OP-02, and OP-05. They skipped OP-03 and they skipped OP-04. So let's kind of take a look at those boxes, because I wanted to kind of show you regarding their One Piece market crash. Because like I said, it was more or less the higher priced ones, Paramount War, Romance Dawn, the ones that were limited in supply at the time, that dropped dramatically. But let's take a look at the other sets during the same period of time. Okay, so Pillars of Strength currently is going for about 251. But if you look at the 1 month chart, because remember 1 month ago, about 2 weeks ago is when the crash happened on One Piece. And like I told you, it's it's market conditions, right? Market is correcting itself. However, the demand for One Piece is still there, and I'll show you that as well. So if you take a look, 250, May 28th, that's where it was at 250. And then the low of 239, right? So it's kind of selling at 246. So this set, OP-03, dropped only about 5%. So, $14 total maybe. So 5% on this set. So this set definitely didn't crash. It's not even in a correction. It actually was in a correction, right? So corrected, and then it came back up. So this was a price that people said, this is too low. I'm going to start scooping up boxes. And as I was mentioning, are people buying the boxes? Well, this one they're kind of slowing down. So that's because also, I think, because the market prices haven't dropped as low. Right? So there's only 4 boxes here and there. But there's only 20 listings as well. So that's also interesting. So I'll kind of do more in depth about the market prices of these sets in a future video. Because I do want to do the 6 month video and kind of compare the 3 month to the 6 months. So it'll be very interesting, especially because that happened during the crash. The 6 months encompassed the crash. Okay, let's take a look at the next set. All right, so I kind of want to go back. I kind of wanted to go to Kingdoms of Intrigue first. Let me find that one real quick. Okay, so this is the next one that nobody wanted. This is one that did not get the reprint and is currently sitting about 185. Let's take a look at the chart, right? So same thing, 195 it was at about a month ago. It dropped during the reprint hysteria, I would say. dropped down to 186. That's not a whole lot. That's like what, $9? Came back up and kind of settled at 191. So that's 2%. So currently it's about a 2% drop. It already did the correction, right? 195 to 186. That's only $9. That's not even, they didn't even hit market correction. Like I said, correction is 10% or more. And they got close, right? 195. They got close, but they didn't quite hit it. Okay. So now let's take a look at the two sets that did crash. Let's see what happened. So let's start with Romance Dawn. Currently at 247. So you could still buy this box, you know, relatively cheap compared to what it was just a month ago. Just a month ago, right before people started, where I started noticing the stores started putting their Paramount Wars or Romance Dawns in stock. Right, so 470, 475, and then the crash. Like this is big, right? 273, all the way down, and it still is hovering around 268. But like I was talking about, as far as the absorption of product, people are buying this product. There's, you know, 10 or more each day. 26. There's 5. 25 on the 25th. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. 28. There's 2. I think that's when it crashed. No, it's not when it crashed. So not 10 or more a day, but you know, 5, at least 5 or more a day, and a couple of them had like 2. So you could see that people were buying this product even as it was going down. Kind of mentioned to you last time in the last video about the difference between this and a stock market is, you know, with the stock market, if a stock's dropping, people, and if they don't like it, they will not buy it, no matter what price. They'll settle for a certain price, but that's going to be a drastic fall. So that's why you hear with stocks that they're dropping like a hot butter knife. The stock is. Okay, so Romance Dawn. Let's take a look at this drop. Right. 477 at the high last month, down to 263, so 44% drop. So that's a big drop. But compared to the other two, right? The other two it was holding pretty steady. Okay, now let's take a look at Paramount War real quick. It's currently at 168. I was surprised at this because I bought my first Paramount Wars at 175 on average at Amazon. So wish I held out. Right, 388, close to 400 that it hit, and now it's down to 172. So, and then you can see it's still being bought up at 178. 178. There's still people buyers. All right, let's take a look here. 54% from the high of 388 to 176. So definitely a huge decrease in price. So that's what I want to say. Like, you remember when that reprint in the news? Go back and watch those old videos. 1, 2, and 5 were the ones that they said that were going to get reprinted, which they did. Every single. Oh, let's go look at 5. I think I have 5 up here. Oh no, that's comparison. All right. But 1, 2, and 5 were the ones that they said that they were going to do. And then you could see they skipped 2 and 3, and you can see with 2 and 3 their drops were 5% and I think 2%. What's the other one? 2%. Right? So in those two boxes, if you remember, those two sets were the least desirable sets, and they're the ones that dropped the least. Very interesting. Okay. Alright, so now I do want to, what I want to do next is kind of show you a comparison. You know, this is why I don't want you to worry too much about these price drops, is because it happens to every card game, and just as long as the people absorb it, the product that's being out there, these companies are just trying to find what their market size is, and they don't want to shortchange those people, especially if they're going to be potential customers down the road. So that's one thing that's interesting about, you know, like I said, when you're talking about collectible card games in general, People don't want to hear about reprints, but it may be a necessary evil to keep that market size growing. Now, Pokemon, Magic, they're different because they've been in the industry for a while. They should already know their market size. Obviously, they still want to keep growing, like what happened during the pandemic, but they're understanding now that that pandemic rise was a temporary boost. All right, so let's take a look at Lorcana. So look at Lorcana, kind of same thing, right? So if you're not a fan of Lorcana, I'll just kind of show you the chart from 6 months ago. You know, they had a kind of a shortage, especially with the first set. So it shot up, and kind of similar to Romance Dawn, right? And then boom, 305 reprint happened, and then it dropped. But did it go to zero? Are people still playing Lorcana? Well, maybe not as much as, you know, a month ago or two, but people are still playing it. People are still buying the product, and as you can see, it's going, you know, settling about 238. So even Lorcana dropped 28% from the high of 305 down to what it is around 219 today. So again, they went through a market crash as well. All right, let's take a look at a new one. Spark of the Rebellion. Star Wars came out with a new set. This one I just want to put up for comparison's sake because it looks like they're going to go through the same or similar problems. And if you go on Reddit and in 6 months from now, you're going to hear the same thing. You know, oh, I can't get cards, I can't want to play, their product may be out of price. And then if they do a reprint, we're going to see a market correction. And so you could already see going down from 209 to 220, 210. So it's just going up and down within a $10 range in the last month. I think in 6 months. Yeah, I was going to say in 6 months, it went from 108 to 247. And now it's settling down at 207. So they did a small reprint not about a month and a half ago. Again, Forge and Fire was the first one I noticed put that box up for sale again. And I was like, whoa, for $200 actually. And so that's, I think that's what the market price is. So now, if you go on the boards, I didn't do this beforehand, but let's take a look first. So they only dropped 3%, but like I said, I want you to keep a lookout for Spark of the Rebellion. So you want to see a card game that may or may not keep going? Let's take a look at Awaken Pulse. So if anyone is a Bandai fan, they probably were following this card game. The same blueprint as many other TCGs that first come out. Because of One Piece, this is what I believe, because of One Piece, and they're changing the format, and they had the same kind of hit rates with the super rares, alt arts, and the rares. People started buying the Fusion World. So they had a shortage. So there's a huge shortage when Fusion World first came out. So if you go watch YouTube videos about fans of Fusion World, they're complaining about not having product. Well, guess what? So that product jumped to about, here, I'll show you, 148 jumped to about 221. Okay, so this is MSRP is about, 79, I think, on this one. It's a little bit cheaper than One Piece. It could be 109, but I think it was 79. And then the reprint happened, and then it dropped like a rock, right? So it went from $200 to $72. Okay, still hasn't recovered yet. That is a 67% drop. So that's a market crash. And this is one that, can Fusion World have the legs to continue? Can it still gain traction? From what I was watching and seeing, there's a couple of starter decks, or excuse me, a couple of leader cards that are just dominating the game, and people are getting bored. Because if you have one leader card that just dominates, people get bored. I know with One Piece, a long time ago, they had the Newgate leader dominate, but then they banned it, right? You have to ban, you have to make moves to keep the game going, to keep it in interest. So, anyways, these are the things that you need to worry about when you're collecting in card games. The difference with One Piece, I think, is that it's actually have a year and a half of success history. People still want the cards. These characters are still desirable. The show is still going. Unlike Dragon Ball Z, where they're doing reboots and remakes, but the core show is not necessarily going. Even though I think that's still a good thing for Dragon Ball. Hopefully that makes this card game even more desirable, because I did pick up a few boxes of Fusion World at about $100. So my cost was $100. So I'm down 27%. All right. Okay, so one thing that I want to talk about is, like I said, I do my research and I kind of want to pass along. So 6 months ago, Rudy from Alpha Investments, one of the bigger YouTubers that talks about mainly Magic, but talks about trading cards in general, talked about exploring One Piece and the dangers of One Piece, kind of similar but to the other videos that I mentioned. But the one thing that he does have a video on is this one. Where is it at? He talks about the reprint that was going to happen, and then he talks about the One Piece panic. Watch this one from 5 days ago, the collapse of One Piece. So this one he talks about kind of similar that what I mentioned last time, is the market absorbing these boxes. If they're absorbing the boxes, then the reprint is becoming successful. So this reprint that just happened, I believe, is a success, because these boxes are still getting scooped up. People are still wanting to play the game. Okay, all right, so definitely want to check that out on your own. Because that's a good video, good information to have. All right, the other thing is I want to kind of mention to you is about the popularity of One Piece. Okay, so it's becoming more and more mainstream. And retailers like Amazon is starting to carry One Piece. I know most of these, I'll be honest, they are coming from third-party sellers, but at least it's an option. The card kit, at least it's an option that they didn't have before. Especially at release, you know, Memorial Collection, 500 years in the future, right? So they are starting to sell. And then, like I was mentioning, you gotta watch these game stores to see what's coming out, what's in stock and what's not. That's your market barometer. So if you are trying to do more of a collecting thing, especially in the sealed space, take a look at the barometer. 6 months ago, this was sold out. This was sold out. I think all these were sold out. Most of these were sold out. But now look, they started putting these stuff back in stock. They just put this one back in stock. Put it to $2.99, but it's sold out. Okay. Memorial Collection, they still out. 2 Legends already out of stock. Okay, so if anyone asks, is One Piece still popular? Well, this should tell you right here. Your pre-order is already out of stock for OP-08. Target, even Target is now having third-party sellers, authorizing third-party sellers to sell One Piece on their site. Memorial Collection, 500 years, which is right now. And I think they have a couple of starter decks as well. Right? I was trying to find a couple articles. I didn't have time though, but you know, people are having hard time trying to sign up for these tournaments, these Bandai official tournaments. And if you go to Reddit now and go to X, people are complaining. So that's, again, due to the popularity of the game, more and more people are playing. Okay? We have a Dragon Ball. Like I said, I kind of want to go over both of these sets. Look at this. Even the second set, which was hot when it came out. People were buying it at about $180 at release. Now it's $57. You know, so that's 2/3 less value. $48.99 shipping included for Blazing Aura. So that's what I was saying. This is in a different. One Piece is in a different world than these newer games. These other newer games are going through the same market cycles that you hear about. Like, if it, you know, needs to have legs, it needs to make sure it has a perfect release, fair and balanced play. Because, like I said, with Blazing Aura, from what I heard, there's a couple of one leader that is dominating the entire meta, and that's just ruining the fun for the game. Okay, all right. So the other thing is, people ask, right? Is this still popular? Take a look at this. From May 7th, this is the Bandai store from Geek Provisions. I always want to give credit when credit's due. some Greek provisions, showing he went to one of the stores in opening, or I think it was a restock. He heard about a restock, so he went there and look at this line.
Had so much stock. Like,
and he's also talking about
we
stock.
were in that queue, and like you must have seen that
he
footage.
said
I'll
that
show
everybody
it
in this line that you're going to see.
The Bandai employee came over. There must have been thousands of people there. They said they had enough product for everyone in that line for sure. Like enough OP-01 specifically, they said.
So what he just said was that everybody in that line was going to have access to OP-01. I think 1 box a person. So everybody was going to be able to buy a box of OP-01. What other card game has their own store minus Pokemon, minus Magic, right? Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have their own store quite yet. So this is what the big difference is, that everybody is starting to play this game. Everybody's getting interested in this game. It's becoming mainstream. Unlike, other card games that are just coming out, Dragon Ball is not becoming mainstream. Sorry, I like these cards. I like watching box openings. It is not becoming as mainstream. I don't see a Dragon Ball Fusion World store, standalone store opening up anytime soon. So, anyways, that's all I have for you. Just wanted to kind of, like I said, give yourself perspective. One Piece isn't going anywhere quite yet. Also, playability the demand is growing. More and more people are playing it. And then finally, as far as an investment purposes, hidden gems, maybe OP-03 and OP-04. They didn't announce reprints for these sets. Does that mean that all the stock of OP-03 and 04, is that it? No more reprints? Now again, I know they're doing treasure boosters, so these packs will be available in those. But outside of that, are they going to be available once the stock goes out? Just food for thought. Anyways, hope you're having a good day, and thank you for your time, and maybe I'll get these videos out a little bit sooner. Have a great one. Bye.